In this section, we are going to talk about willful defaulter. At first, let us understand what is willful default. If a borrowing unit has defaulted in meeting its payment or repayment obligation despite having capacity to honor that obligation, we call it as willful default. Similarly, if the borrowing unit has defaulted and it has not utilized the borrowed money from the lender for specific purpose but has diverted that money for some other purpose, it is willful default. The third scenario, there is a default and that borrower has actually siphoned off the funds. It means funds was not used for the specified purpose and those funds are also not available with the entity in the form of any other assets. It means it is fully out of the system now. The fourth scenario, there is a default and whatever the asset they have acquired by using the borrowed money, that they have disposed of or removed that movable fixed asset or immovable property which was actually security for that loan. Okay, so when it is removed without the knowledge of the bank or lender and when there is a default, we call it as willful default. So we said default is the core, and if that default is backed by any of these four reasons, we call it as willful default. Okay, but let us appreciate that this default in payment can be divided into two. It can be intentional or it can also be on account of reasons beyond the control of the borrower, right? When it is intentional, we call it as willful default.